Life is often like a long road. Some people walk on it with ease, some run with strength, and some struggle with pain. But every person, no matter how strong or weak, must face their own race. This is the story of a young man named Arman, who was born with a disability in his leg. Many people told him he would never be able to run, let alone dream of something as impossible as a marathon. But Arman's heart was stronger than the doubts that surrounded him. His journey teaches us that the human spirit can rise above limits when courage and patience walk together. Arman was born in a small town. His left leg was weak from birth, and he often walked with difficulty. As a child, he could not play like the other boys. He would watch them run across the field, chasing footballs, racing with laughter, while he sat on the side, feeling left behind. Sometimes children teased him and called him slow. At night, Arman would lie awake, looking at the ceiling, and wonder why his life was so different. His parents told him not to worry, that he was special in his own way. But deep inside, Arman wished for only one thing: to run, to feel the wind on his face, and to move freely like everyone else. When he was a teenager, his doctor told him clearly, "Arman, your leg will always be weak. You must accept it. Don't try to put too much pressure on it. Running is not for you." Those words were meant as advice, but to Arman, they sounded like chains. He nodded quietly in the doctor's office, but when he returned home, something inside him began to burn. He thought to himself, "Why should the world decide what I cannot do? Why should I accept these limits without even trying?" One day, while watching television, he saw a marathon being broadcast. Thousands of people were running through the streets, pushing their bodies, fighting against their own limits. Among them, he saw one runner with an artificial leg, running slowly but steadily. The crowd cheered for him louder than anyone else. Arman felt his heart beating fast. He whispered to himself, "If he can do it, why not me?" That night, he made a promise to himself. He would run in a marathon one day, no matter how long it took, no matter how hard it was. The next morning he woke up early before sunrise. The streets were empty, the air was cool, and the world was quiet. He wore his old sneakers, tied the laces, and stepped out onto the road. His first run was clumsy. His leg hurt, his breathing became heavy, and after only a few minutes, he fell down. His hands scraped against the ground, and pain shot through his knee. For a moment, he thought about giving up. But then he remembered the promise he had made to himself. Slowly, with determination, he stood up again and kept walking. That was the beginning of his training. Day after day, Arman went out to practice. At first, he could only run for a few minutes before stopping. Then, he managed 10 minutes, then 20. His body ached, but his spirit grew stronger. People in his town noticed him. Some laughed, saying, "Look at him, struggling. He will never succeed." Others shook their heads in pity, saying, "Poor boy. He should not push himself so hard." But Arman did not listen to them. He listened only to the sound of his own footsteps and the beat of his heart. His parents worried for him, but when they saw the light in his eyes, they chose not to stop him. His father said gently, "Son, the road will be hard, but if your heart truly wants this, we will stand with you." Those words gave Arman strength. Months passed. The road that once defeated him became his friend. He began running longer distances. He studied about nutrition, breathing, and stamina. He learned to rest, to recover, and to rise again. Each time he felt pain, he told himself, "This pain is not my enemy. It is my teacher." He realized that running was not only about legs, it was about the mind. When his body said stop, his mind whispered, "Just a little more." That whisper became his power. Finally, after years of quiet practice, the day came when Arman signed up for his first marathon. He stood at the starting line with thousands of other runners. Some were tall and strong, some were professional athletes, and many looked much faster than him. For a moment, doubt crept into his mind. He thought, "What if I fail? What if I collapse?" But then he remembered his journey. The falls, the pain, the laughter of those who doubted him, and the support of his parents. He straightened his back, took a deep breath, and when the whistle blew, he began to run. The marathon was not easy. In the first few kilometers, he managed well, but as the distance grew, so did his pain. His leg ached terribly, and sweat dripped from his face. Some runners passed him quickly, their pace smooth and fast, but Arman kept reminding himself, "This is not a race against them. This is my race, my marathon, my life." As he ran, some spectators noticed him limping but refusing to stop. They began to cheer for him. "Come on, you can do it," they shouted. Their voices gave him energy. Children clapped for him, and old men raised their hands in encouragement. Every step he took became heavier, but also more meaningful. At one point, around the halfway mark, his body nearly gave up. He felt dizzy, and his vision blurred. He thought of quitting, but then he remembered the young boy he once was, sitting alone, watching other kids play, wishing he could run. He whispered to himself, "This is for you, that boy who once dreamed." With new strength, he pushed forward. The final stretch of the marathon felt endless. His legs were numb, his breath came in short bursts, but the finish line appeared in the distance. The crowd was loud, the energy electric. Tears filled his eyes. He thought of all the people who told him he could not do this, and he thought of the moment he first fell on the road years ago. Step by step, he moved closer, until finally, he crossed the line. The crowd erupted in applause. Arman fell to his knees, exhausted but victorious. He had not finished first, but that did not matter. For him, simply finishing the marathon was a greater victory than winning a gold medal. He had proven that limits are not walls, they are doors waiting to be opened with courage. Later, when reporters asked him about his achievement, he smiled and said, "I was not racing against others. I was racing against my own fear, my own doubt. And today, I won." His words touched thousands of people. His story spread beyond his town, inspiring many others with disabilities to believe in themselves. Arman's journey reminds us that life is a marathon, not a sprint. We may stumble, we may fall, and we may feel weak. But every step forward, no matter how small, brings us closer to our dreams. It does not matter how fast we go. What matters is that we do not stop. The world often sets limits for us. People may say, "You cannot do this," or "You are not strong enough." But the truth is, only we can decide what our spirit is capable of. Arman's marathon was not just about running. It was about proving that the human will can rise above pain, above doubt, and above fear. So, whenever life feels too hard, remember the boy who was told he could never run, yet finished a marathon. Remember that within you too is the strength to keep moving, step by step, until you cross your own finish line. Because in the end, the marathon of life is not about winning, it is about refusing to quit.